What's up, YouTube? My name is Batman, and today we're going to be playing a level that is, in my opinion, basically just a replay of Sacred Icon from Halo 2. I mean, I guess it's not a replay, it's not exactly the same. There are different enemies, different weapons, you know, a different sequence of events, which I guess would constitute a different level, but I think anyone who's played that level in Halo 2 is going to come into this level and immediately feel like, you know, they're just redoing the same old thing. It's not anything. It feels like what Halo's been doing lately is recycling a lot of old levels, a lot of old gameplay. Now, the first fight, when you're in that Pelican, if you just stay way high up above the Phantoms, you can just shoot them from a distance and they won't even be able to fire back at you. And that's the safest way to do that, but it does get kind of tedious, so I just kind of skipped over it. When you get in here, make sure you're holding on to that DMR. You also, on the side of the Pelicans, at some point, not at some point, in the beginning of the level, you'll see it'll like have a little, you know, blue arrow that'll say ammo, and it'll be on the side of the Pelican. You can choose all these great guns. Take the SAW and take the DMR. You want to take the SAW to use for the bigger, more hard to kill enemies like the Knights and the Elites. Though Knights and the Elites, it's going to come in real handy, like how you see here. It takes down their shields and kills them pretty quickly, and you can do it all by yourself. And you want to hold on to that DMR just to take out, you know, any more dogs that you might run into, the smaller enemies, dogs and grunts. This right here is going to be, I think, the most, what do you call it? Like, the Covenant and the Forerunner guards, or whatever you want to call them. The Covenant and the Forerunner aliens, this is going to be their most concentrated effort together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be running in, this is going to be where you fight the most of both enemies at the same time. You know, every fight is going to have a mix of the two. You're going to be jumping in between. And it does get, you know, sort of frustrating. Fighting Knights and Elites at the same time can be very, very difficult. But really, at the end of the day, if you kind of approach them the same way, you know, take down their shields and then shoot them in the face, you shouldn't have much trouble because, you know, they have the same sort of constitution. Maybe that's not the right word. They have the same, you know, build-up. They have the same. They die the same way. You know, they both die easy as long as you know how to kill them. But this level is going to be probably the second hardest level in the game, I want to say. I've beaten the whole game at this point. The last level is by far the hardest. This is probably the second hardest in my opinion. Just remember to be patient and remember to shoot those floating balls. If you know, I've said that in every level, I think, not every level, but, you know, in my guides before this, I've said that again and again. When you're fighting these Forerunner aliens, shoot those yellow floating balls. But I just have to keep stressing that point because if you forget to kill even one, like, you know, when I was going through this level, I made that mistake where I would forget to shoot one, or I'd think, oh, that's just one, he's way off in the distance, he's not going to be that big of a deal. But, you know, they can, you see, that when they shoot that blue beam down at the ground, they're reviving enemies, and so if you leave even one alive, you're going to, you know, go win a fight or whatever, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to have to redo the whole fight that you just did because that one ball has revived a whole army of these Forerunner aliens. And again, if they revive one Knight, that Knight can also spew out of its little bat canister. It can make more floating balls, and then it can spawn more dogs. And so it's just this never-ending cycle. You know, if you don't finish them all off, they will just keep reproducing on you. So make sure you're very thorough in killing all the Forerunner aliens. Now, this part that you see us going through right here, when you run out of SAW ammo, pick up the scatter guns, which are going to be sort of plentiful. Every I think there's maybe 2 or 3 Knight that will be dropping a scatter gun. Pick those up. Scatter guns are very, very good against Knights. I think they're probably the best weapon against Knights, period. The second best being the human shotgun. And remember, this Forerunner, the scatter gun, the Forerunner shotgun, this thing's real semi-auto. You know, I don't fire it as fast as I should. I'm kind of using it like it's a pump action, but you can really jam the trigger in that thing and get, you know, 2, 3, 4 shots per second in. You're going to have to come back into this Pelican twice, I think. Anytime you have to fight these phantoms, just do what I'm doing right here and stay way high above them. It can get boring, but if you do try and go fight them, you know, head on, they're going to swarm all around you and they're going to kill you pretty quick. Now, when you get back in the gondolas, anytime you're in the gondola, stay just, you know, don't go up and try and fight the enemies while the gondola's moving. Get down in the lower level, get behind some cover, and just wait till the gondola stops at its destination, and then make your way out so you can, you know, get a more what do you call it? More consistent structure in your fighting pattern. You know what I mean? If you're sitting there trying to shoot these guys while your gondola's moving and you're up out in the open and you're you know, your cover's shifting and their angle is shifting, it's going to be hard to sort of basically what's going to happen is you're just going to end up wasting a lot of ammo. I'm telling you that right now, and you're not going to get very many kills, especially because most of these enemies, unless you have a very strong precision weapon, most of these enemies aren't going to die from a distance. You're going to have to get up close. Now, if you remember way back then, right before you got out of the first building to get in your second Pelican ride, you fought a guy who had a rocket launcher, or I don't know what it's called, an incineration cannon. Pick the incineration cannon up off that guy so that you can save it for later situations like this one right here. And you really want to use it, you know, I think a lot of people, myself included, make the mistake of, you know, oh, we have this incineration cannon, its ammo is so valuable, it's not worth wasting on, you know, any of these enemies. Use it liberally. And not in the sense that, you know, liberal, like, you know, don't use it like Barack Obama would use it, although, you know, given what we know, that might actually be very deadly. Use it not conservatively, and I'm not, what's the word, you know, I don't mean that in a political sense. I know we're just getting out of an election, everyone's going to be thinking politics, but I mean, use it frequently, use it a lot. Anytime you run into one of those knights that's using a scattergun or a rocket launcher or anything more powerful than their basic beam rifle, hit them with that incineration cannon. It'll make things a lot easier. It'll get you through, you know, fights a lot quicker. But if you get into this pattern of sort of, you know, saving your ammo for as long as you can and trying your best to conserve it, you're going to end up making things harder for yourself, because, you know, you're going to be going into a fight and you're going to be fighting one weapon down, right? Because you're only using one weapon because you don't want to use the ammo on that incineration cannon. That's going to be a problem. So use it when you see the opportunity to use it. You know, don't try and hold on to it. Other than knights, the only thing you're going to face in this level that's stronger than knights are 2 hunters at the very, very end. So don't try and hold on to that incineration cannon that whole time. Plus, you're going to have more opportunities to grab more incineration cannons. You know, so don't be afraid when you have that bad boy. I think you're going to have 4 or 5 shots. Don't be worried about saving them. Just make sure they count. You know what I mean? Make sure you hit something with them. Don't waste them. Now, coming up here, you want to ditch your jetpack at some point, because this, I personally, I think this shield, I don't know what the official name for it is, but the shield you can activate, right? I think that's probably the best equipment you can use, because it keeps you alive, whereas the jetpack, I'm not sure what it's good for on this level. I mean, if you jetpack, you're going up into the air and you're making yourself a huge target, and, you know, you're a sitting duck, you're a fish in a barrel or a bird in the sky. Whereas with the shield, you know, that thing is really going to come in handy. Now, you saw right here, I just kind of ran past those guys because over here you're going to have a more advantageous position. You see, he didn't die. Liam didn't kill him. He survived. But if you were to fight him just on that open bridge, you know, you're going to have more struggles than you would if you came over here. And I think I was out of scattergun ammo at that point, but there is more ammo right next to that orange beam where you pick up, I mean, where you walk into it and it destroys your shields, and that's the objective, right? Right next to that, there's an ammo box where you can pick up more scattergun ammo and more light rifle ammo. And basically, anytime you're fighting these Forerunner aliens, you kind of want to make sure your weapon combo is something along the lines of like a precision weapon, or a precision weapon and some sort of power weapon. You use the precision weapon for the small things, the power weapon for the big things. You know, it's pretty simple. Now, I know it feels like the video's kind of jumping around here from scene to scene. Basically what I did is I wanted to keep it under 15 minutes, and so anytime we are past a fight, I skip all the nonsense where, you know, we're just walking from point A to point B and we're not really fighting anything. But all the fights in the level are here. So keep that in mind. When you get here, make sure you take out those turrets first of all. If you shoot them kind of like the hitbox, if you shoot to the upper right, the barely upper right of the turret, you'll kill the grunt on it. And if it's elite, you're going to have troubles. You really don't want an elite to get on that turret, but most of the time that shouldn't be a problem. As long as you kill that. You kill one grunt on it, and then a second grunt will try and get on it. Kill him too. Or you can, if you can land a grenade on it, which I was unable to do. It's kind of a hard throw. The grenade physics in this game, I think they tweaked them a little bit, and so I'm having trouble getting used to them from previous Halos. But if you can throw a grenade on it, that destroys the turret and makes it a moot point all around. Now, the boss fight should be coming up here pretty soon. You're going to have to fight 2 hunters. This is also the spot where you get the achievement, what is it called, like explore the floor or something, where you trick one of those hunters into falling on the ground. You get an achievement for that. To do that, what you want to do is make them follow you onto this little light blue bridge that I'm on right here, and you can and once they're on there, if you hit them with the fuel rod cannon, which you picked up off of a couple of dead grunts which were in the previous fight, forgot to mention that, but make sure you have a fuel rod cannon or the incineration cannon. Trick one of these hunters onto walking onto this light bridge, and then you can either hit them with a fuel rod cannon, or you can sort of like, they'll lunge at you, you know, to melee you, and then if you move out of the way, they'll fall off entirely on their own, which I think is the original way it was meant to be done. But if you hit them with a fuel rod cannon or even a grenade, it'll kind of make them flinch to the left or the right, and that'll work just as well too. Now, this last area, if you do it the way the game designers intended you to do it, is going to be extremely difficult. So instead of doing it the way they want you to do it, you're going to be a rebel. You're going to jump in this Banshee. You're going to fly down underneath the level, and you can skip all this stuff. And sort of, we do it very awkwardly. It's not very smooth. It could have been done a lot better than that, and it would have worked out better. But you know, I digress. It works. You can skip that whole fight, and that fight is very hard. And if you get to that, once you get past that, you're done with the level. So yeah, hope this could help. This is Batman signing out.